right. Hey! Hey!
Do we have any girls in the class?
We have 2 girls. No, 3.
Yeah.
Three girls and Jawad.
Something discussed about I don't know. Coming topic.
That's good. I'm leaving already. All right, discussion essay. Discussion essay. It's what you want to do when you get an essay question at university is ask the lecturer if you don't understand. Because some people and some universities accept that this could be an argument essay, and I don't think it is. I think when you say discuss, you know, it's two sides, two people, you're talking, so there's been some debate about whether discuss means both sides or one side, like in an argument essay. Right, so the first thing I would do is read the instructions. Alright, so the first thing you've got to see is, and the very first thing, 1, your essay must include 2 direct quotes and 1 paraphrase. You know how many words you have to write? Between 450 and 600. And then 3, please remember to use the essay structure and elements learnt in class. And also sentence structure, vocabulary and grammar. And you have the time limit, 1.5 hours. So my class got a copy of this before the test, which is what we decide is your mark for each 5 of the 5 sections. So content is information, and how well you put the information together. Structure, as we know, is introduction, body, conclusion, and all the parts of that. In-text referencing, the 2 types, direct and indirect, or paraphrasing. Indirect means not the exact words, it means paraphrasing. Grammar and vocabulary. So they do talk about all of these here. You know, 2 direct quotes and 1 paraphrase. That's in-text referencing. Okay, the word limit is part of the structure. Okay, essay structure, and the elements of that. Edit, paying attention to sentence structure. We did that week 1, sentence structure. Simple, compound, complex. Subject and verb and object. Grammar and vocabulary. Now they're all only worth 10 marks out of 50. Right, so that's the task requirements. Right, so everyone knows what a vegetarian is?
Don't eat meat.
Doesn't eat meat. There was some discussion about what a vegetarian is. Does it include dairy products?
Yes. That doesn't.
Oh, yeah, no, yes and no.
Yes.
Yes and no.
They drink milk, I think.
Yeah, but milk's from a cow, you know, it's from a,
They
doesn't really
they
matter.
drink milk. Vegans don't drink milk and don't eat eggs.
Fair enough.
You are
Vegetarian.
vegetarian.
Me? Oh, I eat
No, she's Serbian. Serbians aren't vegetarians. All right, so quotes for and against. So you don't even have to know about the subject. You can learn about the subject from the quote. So what I would quickly do, you've got for and against. So let's just say positives and negatives. All right, the first one. Farm animals feel pleasure and pain. They are much more sensitive and intelligent than we ever imagined. Animals feel.
Pain.
Next one, the study looked at vegetarians, found that vegetarians put on even less weight as they get older. All right, vegetarians are thinner. Next one. If we really want to reduce the human impact on the environment, the simplest thing anyone can do is eat less meat. Okay. Better for the environment. Next one. It is wrong and immoral to kill another living being for the simple pleasure. So, just wrong, immoral. And vegetarian food is generally lower in fat. Vegetarian food healthier. Okay, so which ones are sort of similar out of those?
Veg thinner and veg food
Thinner and healthy.
healthy.
Yeah. So that, and there's one more.
Animal
Wrong.
feel.
Wrong
and
and
immoral.
wrong. Yes.
So really, you've kind of got three reasons. Three reasons there. Okay, the next one, quotes against. Okay, vegetarians lack vitamins and minerals. The next one, okay,
Stock industry job.
livestock
Job.
and gives job, the livestock industry, farmers who raise cattle, raise sheep, raise pigs. It gives jobs, it's an industry, livestock industry. Alright, next one. Human beings are the dominant species on the planet and all of the Earth's resources and animals are at our disposal. That's not very good. Humans are rulers, kings and queens of the world. Okay, vegetarian, okay, vegetarianism is awkward in society, in social settings, and all right, and then well, this is interesting. Okay, don't live longer.
Yes.
Well, that was one study. Okay, so are there any of those similar? Vitamins and minerals,
Vitamin, minerals.
Vitamin,
and maybe don't live longer. Livestock, jobs.
jobs, society.
Society.
So maybe these two, yeah, society.
Yeah.
It's good for the economy, good for society, good for industry. So they kind of, so you kind of got three sort of areas for and three against. Okay, I think it's all there. So then we go to the introduction. And as we know, the first part is a general statement.
Yes.
General statement. I was talking to one of the students in our class. So the topic is vegetarianism. Now, what is vegetarianism, or being a vegetarian, part of?
They only eat vegetables.
That's a definition.
Nutrition.
Yeah, it's like it's food. So it's sort of the bigger topic. The bigger topic. Non-vegetarian, vegetarian is part of what we eat. So
Right.
food. Let's say food is the major topic. I think it's.
Food.
What's a general statement about food?
Food is the very important for human being.
You know, every human being on the planet eats food.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
That's what a general statement is. There's no argument, you know.
Food is very important part of human life.
Yep.
For
No.
everyone.
Yep.
No human can live without food. We talked about this. What was it? Remember? 3 minutes, 3 days, 3 weeks.
3 months. 3 years.
What was 3 days? What was 3 minutes?
Oxygen.
You can't live without
Right.
oxygen, or you can't live without, you know, breathing for 3 minutes. You can't live without what? Water for 3 days, and then you can't live without eating 3 weeks. I mean, people go longer, you know, but it's just as a general rule. You know, human can live without food. All over the planet. People eat many different
Food.
types of food.
Yes.
Now, before we get to the thesis statement which answers the question, maybe we just, because you know, we talk about going from general to specific. So we're talking about food and then different types of food. Now we can get to vegetarian versus non-vegetarian.
Many people.
This is a question. Many of you said that there are more vegetarians in the world than non-vegetarians. Is that true?
No.
No.
In India, yes,
Maybe in
No.
India,
but not in the world.
Yeah.
many people
Non-vegetarian?
No, Punjabis are like vegetarian.
do not
I'm also like eating vegetarian.
No human can live without food. All over the planet, people eat many different types of food. Many people do not eat meat.
They can lose their minerals, vitamins.
We're going to come to that. That's in the preview. The reasons go in the preview, remember? Many people do not eat meat and choose only to eat vegetables and other non-meat products. Does that sound right? No human can live without food. All over the planet, people eat many different types of food. Many people do not eat meat and choose only to eat vegetables and other non-meat products. And I think that's a general statement. Very general. But if you guys want to take photos, it might be, if it's easier for you, but it's good that you're writing. Writing you remember better. Alright, so I'll just do, now I'll do the thesis statements. So we've introduced the topic. The general statement is the introduction in the introduction. It's step one of step one. Thesis statement. What does the thesis statement do? Answers the question. Or gives direction. Gives direction to your essay. Thesis statement. Alright, so no human can live without food. All over the planet, people eat many different types of food. Many people do not eat meat and choose only to eat vegetables and other non-meat products. You can rewrite the question in the thesis statement whether everyone should be vegetarian is an interesting question. This essay will discuss both sides of this issue. Lady and gentlemen, that answers the question. So, no human can live without food. All over the planet, people eat many different types of food. Many people do not eat meat and choose only to eat vegetables and other non-meat products. Whether everyone should be vegetarian is an interesting question. This essay will discuss both sides of this issue. Not, I believe, or my opinion is. Just, this essay will discuss both sides of this issue. So we've gone from, we're just looking at the introduction, general statement, thesis statement. We're getting more specific. Of course, the next part is the preview. Alright, do you want to take a photo before I... Come up closer if you like. Or, I mean, you'll be able to watch the video on YouTube very soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll keep the thesis statement just for a while, so we can see the connection. And then the preview, also called an outline.
Outline, yes.
Preview outline. Whether everyone should be vegetarian is an interesting question. This essay will discuss both sides of the issue. The first part of this essay will look at the, now there's many different words. We'll look at the arguments for. We'll look at the positives of. We'll look at the advantages. Look at the good things. The first part of this essay, we'll look at the advantages. Now, the reason I chose advantages, the bigger the word, usually the more academic the word. Big words sound smart. There are cars on the street, or there are automobiles on the street. Cars, or obviously when you're talking with friends, you don't, use academic words. You use them in essays. Advantages. Advantages sounds more academic than pros. The pros and the cons. That's very informal. Let's just stick with the advantages. The first part of this essay, we'll look at the advantages in the areas of alright, so how do we combine it's wrong and immoral to kill an animal for eating for pleasure, as animals feel, in the areas of animal rights. You've heard of animal rights? There's human rights.
Yes, the animal rights.
Animal rights. So that kind of, because animals feel, they are sensitive. You know how they often say that like a pig or a dog has the brain of a 3-year-old? They do have, you hit an animal and it might go, it might make a sound that it's been hurt, so they do have some feeling. All right, in the areas of animal rights. So that kind of covers those two. Animal rights, human health. Human health covers, it's healthier food and vegetarians are thinner. And the environment. Alright, so the first part has 3 parts.
Or we can write only about one of those.
Well, that's the debate. To me, a discussion essay
Yeah,
is
but
both sides.
If we have 3 paragraphs, so one paragraph can be about health, another about animal rights, and third one about, for example, some of these arguments against.
You can have, let's just say you do. We'll come to this, but we're talking about this before. 250 words, or 500 words. 250 words is the essay, like in IELTS or something similar. Maybe 50 words for the introduction, then 50 words for the first paragraph, 50 words for the second paragraph, the third paragraph of the body, and then 50 words for the conclusion. But then, if your essay is 2,500, 10 times bigger, you don't have, these really big paragraphs, you just have more paragraphs. You've seen the books, paragraphs can be 3 sentences, 6 sentences, 9 sentences. But I would say when you have a page, an A4, it would be no less than 4 paragraphs. It's not so important. We'll come back to that. You might be able to combine 2 ideas in the one paragraph, but we'll just come back to it. The first part of this essay, we'll look at the advantages in the areas of animal rights, human health, and the environment. The second part, don't use the number 2. It's informal. I'm just saving space. The second part of this essay, we'll look at the disadvantages in the areas of human health. society. Now society includes industry, so it covers both. And you know, humans, you know, it talks about humans are rulers, you know, we are the dominant species, we can eat what we want.
Human dominance.
Yeah, which is sort of part of society. Why don't we just leave it at that? In human health and society. So really, introduction, maybe 5 ideas. So 3 are advantages, 2 are disadvantages. Don't think that there has to be, you know, oh, I've got 3 advantages, I must have 3 disadvantages. It doesn't have to balance. There might be 10 advantages and 2 disadvantages.
Yeah, but if you write in one paragraph about 3 advantages or 2 disadvantages for people who have problem with jumping from one idea to another idea in one paragraph, this is a big issue.
Yeah.
Because one paragraph should have only one idea.
Well, let's talk about that. This one was 450 to 600 words, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's just say 500 words. That's what you're aiming at. So 500 words. What do we got here? You know, let's just quickly count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 35, 30, 40, 50. And how much was the general statement? About,
25.
so the whole introduction about 70? So your introduction could be 70 to 100 words, where you include a general statement, a thesis statement, and a preview. Let's just say the conclusion is about the same. The summary is like the preview. Well, the summary is sort of the thesis and preview together. So let's say 70, and the comment, let's say 100. So we said the summary at the end, which we'll talk about later, was 70 plus the comment or recommendation. It's 100. So look at 200 words in there, give or take, leaves about 300. 300 divided by the 5, 60. All right, and then so you'd have advantage 1, advantage 2, advantage 3, disadvantage 1 and disadvantage 2, 60, 60. Do you think you could talk about animal feeling, you know, in 60 words? So then really you've got 1 paragraph, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 paragraphs, 500 words. 7 into 500 is about 70 words per paragraph, which is about right. As a general rule, generally a paragraph should be 50 to 100 words. So 70 is about right. So there you go. And you've got it all planned out. Because you've done the preview not only helps the teacher or the lecturer understand what you're going to talk about, it also helps you write the body paragraphs. Really, these are all topic sentences. Topic sentence number 1, you know, the first advantage of vegetarianism is animal rights. There's your topic sentence. Then the next paragraph, the second advantage is human health. And in the third paragraph, the last advantage is in the environment, or for the environment. There's your topic sentences, and all you have to do is support that. You know, animal rights, supporting sentences. Animals feel. And you've got a quote as evidence, as an example. All right. Now, of course, this all changes. What happens if it's a 2,500 word essay? Do you times everything by 5? Should the introduction be 500 words? Should all of these be? There's going to be a lot more paragraphs. Maybe there's 4 or 5 paragraphs just in the introduction.
Oh, welcome.
Sorry for that.
It's okay.
Welcome.
You can watch it on YouTube. Don't knock the table. Thank you, Ram. Thank you, Ram. Ram and Ram. All right, and then we got, you know, maybe the first advantage. Andy, come in. It's all right. The first advantage, I don't know, maybe that's 3 or 4 paragraphs. It's just that I've got the videos set up. It's just sitting on top of the
Sit
tripod.
over there.
Can I sit
You
there?
can sit there.
Okay,
Boy.
Just
Yeah,
be
yeah,
careful.
it's all right.
What?
Camera.
Go and sit up next to Ram.
Here?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
Camera.
ट्रांसलेटर निकाल ले
You all know this. You know that a 250 word essay or a 500 word essay will not have the same detail as a 2,500 word essay. It's like any story. Every story has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. When you meet a friend on the street, you tell a story. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. You watch a movie, it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. You can tell a story in 2 minutes or 2 hours. It just means maybe the story has more of an introduction if it's in 2 hours. It's like a book. Maybe the first 3 chapters of the book are like the introduction, setting up the story, introducing the characters, introducing, you know, where they are, what they do. And then like the body is when the action happens in a book or a story. So the idea is that this basic essay plan can be applied to a 200 word essay or a 2,000 word essay or a 20,000 word essay. So that's a rough guide. So we've sort of got the plan now. We've done the general statement to introduce the topic. We've answered the question, and we've given step-by-step instructions. Bang, bang, bang. So, I'm not going to write the whole essay. Now I want to move on to referencing. Alright, so the first, we'll do animals feel wrong and immoral. Alright, so this is body, paragraph number 1. Okay, the first advantage of being a vegetarian is in the area of animal rights. I've never had so much attention in class before. The first advantage of being a vegetarian is in the area of animal rights. That is our topic sentence. Alright, we already know we've got 2 quotes about that. Alright, as Adams 2014, as Adams says,
And page number.
Page number.
we'll come back to this. If you use more than the one quote from the same person, from the same journal or book, then you use the page number. We'll just keep it at this for the time being. As Adams says in the Journal of Health, and when you do, you've got 2 options. You can do the direct quote, the double or 2, the double quotation, or you can do 1. I like 2. As Adam says, farm animals feel pain, or feel pleasure and pain. They are much more sensitive and intelligent. They are much more sensitive and intelligent than we ever imagined. And what that means is, at the end of your essay, not in the essay you do on Monday because you don't write a reference list, but in your essays at university, the lecturer reads this and goes, "Who's Adams? What's this? What's this?" They can go to the back, the last page of the essay with the reference list, all the information sources that you have used, and find out, okay, Adams, okay, Eating Healthfully, the Journal of Health, yep, volume 3, number 2, pages 17 to 30.
Can you again repeat the thing with the page number?
If you only use that reference once, you don't have to have the page number.
Uh-huh.
But if you're using the same, we have to for this. But yes, but I'm just doing a very basic model right now. I mean, I forget this stuff. I have to look up referencing guides. I didn't, memorize the 68-page Harvard referencing guide for CQU, but I do know the basics. Like, we've done books, family name, first initial, year, title of book in italics, publisher, and place of publication. But there's different referencing for journals, for websites, for online journals, different references for 1 author, 4 authors. There's all these.
And another question, if you write in the Journal of Health, should they be capital or not?
Yeah, you're probably right. Journal of Health.
And T? Because it's the name of a journal.
Yeah, that's one is up there. Yeah, why not? Thank you, Maya. See, this sort of stuff. At university, you're going to get different. You're going to have lecturers who are like Maya. That should be a capital T, that should be a capital J, that should be a capital H. You're going to have lecturers like me, like, it's not important. So, the better you do it, the better it is.
Sir, Carla said to first in the body paragraph, first topic sentence, second reason, C example, and D direct quote.
Yeah.
But you change.
This is just a basic model.
Okay.
It's like for the introduction, there is a general statement, a thesis statement, a preview. You can have a definition in there. You can have a quote in there maybe in the general statement. There's more and more. Like when you read different essays, they're going to have different elements, but they really sort of have those basics. You will always answer the question in the introduction, and you will always give an outline. You know, maybe the general statement, you know, you cannot have a general statement. You can just go straight into answering the question. Or at least the general statement, you could just start talking about vegetarian or vegetarianism, which is the noun, the adjective noun, straight away. You don't have to talk about food and people eat food and stuff. You know, there's options to change it, but you know, the basic structure is the same. It's like saying, you know, not all cars are the same. Some are station wagons, some are sedans, some are vans, you know, some are sports cars, but they've all got the basic structure. An engine, wheels, a steering wheel. So it's just those, we just want to get you to the basics, and then, you know, this is not something you know, after today you know everything about essays. You have to keep on improving and getting better. Especially, you know, maybe you want to go on to a PhD afterwards. Yeah. So yeah, so check all these little things. The Journal of Health, you know. Let's put in that then. So we'll go in. So 2014. Like, is there a comma in there?
Yeah.
You know, also the other thing, different types of referencing. We use Harvard here. There's APA referencing. There's a few different types of referencing. It's like, you know, there's Android, there's iOS. There's the different systems. Even in this university, there might be different referencing systems depending on what you're studying.
Yeah.
They're just a formula to follow. All right, so what page was that? Page 17. So I don't like the comma. Just personally, it doesn't matter. All right, as Adams, 2014, page 17, says in the Journal of Health, farm animals feel pleasure and pain, blah, 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 you know, something than we ever imagined, you know. So, we're talking about animals feeling, topic sentence. The first advantage of being a vegetarian is in the area of animal rights. As Adams says, you know, animals feel pleasure and pain. No. Most people who have or have had a pet can attest to the feelings that's still connected, that still supports the topic sentence, the controlling idea about animals and their feelings. They feel pleasure and pain. We have a quote from a journal, which is good. You know, most people who have or have had a pet can attest, can state to the feelings that their pets display. Yeah, it's a reasonable argument that the quote supports the topic sentence. Does this support the topic sentence?
Yeah.
Because animal rights is because animals feel, so that's sort of, it's all connected. All right. So we've done a direct quote. Let's do a paraphrase of the next quote. It is wrong and immoral, which is, it is wrong and immoral to kill another living being for the simple pleasure of eating.
Eating of living being.
According to Adam.
According to.
We're going to change, how can we change that and write it? It's wrong and immoral, do you know?
It's not
most
moral
people-
and correct.
Unethical.
Or unethical.
Yeah.
Unethical.
Does everyone know what human civilization means? Like human society, human civilization. Human civilization has advanced since left human civilization has advanced since we left the caves and started forming societies thousands of years ago. Does everyone understand that? We used to live in caves. We were called cavemen. We started forming societies. A group is like a society. You know, there's a group of people. A class is a society. You know, a country can be a society. Human civilization has advanced since we left the caves and started forming societies thousands of years ago. Our knowledge has increased immensely. Over those years. Okay. Our knowledge has increased immensely. Immense means big, very big. Has increased a lot over those years. Now this is bringing me into wrong and immoral. So I need some more space. So I'm just going to take off